All right, today's karate class, we're going to start with a normal warm up. We're going to work on some punching skills. We're going to a couple more of your kicks. We're going to work on the side kick, the back kick, the axe kick. After that, we'll work on our fighting stances. Make sure you're good with those. We'll work on the self defense techniques 6, 7, 16, 17, 26, and 27. And then we're going to work on a hopping front kick. When that's over, I have a challenge for you. We're going to hold your side kick, and I'll explain what that means in a little bit. All right, as usual, we're going to start off with 25 jumping jacks. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Good. Now lay down your stomachs. Now we're going to do 10 push-ups. Put your hands right by your side. Put your feet down. Pull your toes back. Get ready. Push up. Say 1, back down. 2, and down. 3, down. 4, down. 5, down. 6, down. 7, down. 8, down. 9, down. Last one, 10. Hold it there and down. Great. Now stand up. Good. Now step out into a ready position. Put your right leg back in a fighting stance. You're going to start with your front hand. We're going to jab, then we're going to cross. You're going to say Tia, Tua. Ready? 1, Tia, Tua. 2, 3, Tia, Tua. Keep your hands up. 4, 5, Tia, Tua. 6, 7, Tia, Tua. 8, 9, 10, Tia, Tua. Good. Switch your feet. Now you start with the other hand. Tia. Your back hand's going to say Tua and come back. Stay with me. Ready? 1, Tia, Tua. 2, 3, 4, Tia, Tua. Keep your hands up. 5, Tia, Tua. 6, Tia, Tua. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. Come back to attention. The next kick we're going to do is called side kick. Side kick in Korean is called yup chucky, not to be confused with op chucky. Op chucky was front kick. Yup chucky is side kick. So say yup chucky. Yup chucky. Good. All right. So yup chucky is side kick. As you can imagine, we're going to turn to the side. We turn our foot sideways and we push a person sideways. Now, typically, we don't just kick sideways. We would turn our side to the person to be able to do the kick. So let me show you how that works. Let's step out in a ready position. Feet apart. Get ready. Good. Take your right leg. Put your right leg back in a fighting stance. Make sure it's your right leg. Now we're going to do a side kick. So to do the side kick, I pick my knee up and I chamber my knee across as far as I can. I want my whole entire side of my body that I'm kicking with, right now my right side, to be aimed right at where my target is. So if you guys are kicking at me, your whole entire side has to be at me. And if you notice, the front of my body is now facing over this direction, right? So we take our back leg, we pick our knee up, we come across. As soon as that's up, as soon as I get to that chamber position, I'm going to extend or kick before I retract and set down. So I bend my knee, kick, and then set down. All right. Now, on this one, it's really easy to take big steps. So let's make sure we take a small step. So let's try the other leg. Pick your back leg up. You're going to chamber across. Hold it there for a second. Good. Once we're there, you're going to hit with the bottom of your heel straight out, and then we set down. Good. Good. Now we're going to do the third one. All right. A little tiny bit faster, but make sure you have all the parts. Bend, kick, retract, and set down. Make sure it's a small step. And the last one more time, kick, Tia, just like that. Good. Now we're going to move back and go a little bit faster. One thing to remember is that you're not just swinging your leg up in place. You want to bend your knee and push away from you as hard as you can. All of my strength and all of my energy has to be going straight. So I want you guys to kick right at me. Don't swing your leg across. Don't swing your leg up, which are two common mistakes people make. So you make your fighting stance, right leg back, a little stronger, bend your knee, and Tia. Good. Put your hands up. Tua. Remember, smaller steps. Tia. Good. Just because of spacing reason, that's all. Tua. Good. And remember, when we hit with the side kick, we always definitely want to hit with the bottom of the heel, right? The bottom of the heel is lined up with all the bones in your leg when your leg is straight, so you can maximize your support and pressure when I'm pushing away really far. Now we're going to work on the back kick. The back kick is called Dui Chucky. Can you say dwi cheki? Dwi cheki. Yes. All right, so dwi cheki is a back kick. To do a back kick, we're actually going to turn backward and then kick. Makes sense. What we actually do is what's more considered a back turning side kick, but we just refer to it as a back kick. All right, so let's start. Let me show you how it works. Step out, do a ready position. Put your right leg back behind you. Good. Now, if you're looking at the screen, right, and you were going to do a back kick toward me, we would have to turn our back toward the screen. It's just like the side kick. When I do a regular side kick, I have to turn my side to where I want to go and then kick. I don't just kick to the side. And so same thing here. I don't just kick to the back. What I want is I want my back to go toward my target. So if I am your target, if you're looking right at me and you want to kick at me, you have to turn your back on me, right? You have to face backwards so your back is toward me. Now you can't just kick because you don't know where if I've moved or where I am, but what you are going to do is look over your shoulder. So the direction you're turning, you've committed to that turn. You're going to look over your shoulder and see if you can see me. And so now I can see you guys right out the corner of my eye. All right, good. So what I want you to do is I want you to lift up. If you look down at that foot, the one that's right there, without moving your feet. So come back. You got your right foot back here. If you turn your back on me, and then you look down at the foot that's right there, that's your right leg, and then you look over your shoulder at me, your goal is to put all your weight back onto this foot and to start to come toward me, but keep turning like we started to do a kick. And that should be a back kick, all right? So sometimes people go the wrong way. Sometimes people pick up the wrong foot. If you are doing that, I'm going to try to fix that later, but let's do that. Put your right foot back. What I want you to do is I want you to turn your head all the way around without picking your foot up. Now, use your right leg. Make sure it's your right leg, and look over your shoulder, and then kick straight toward me. The reason I call it a back turning side kick is because once I've turned all the way, and once I pick my knee up to kick, it's a chamber, just like we did for a side kick. So a regular side kick, I faced you, I pick my foot up and kick. A back leg is the same kick. I just look over my shoulder and kick. All right, so let's see if you can do that. Put your foot behind you. We're going to do the same kick 3 times. We're not going to switch feet. It's the right leg. All right, so put your right leg back, tap your right leg, stomp your right leg, put your hands up. Now look over your shoulder, kick with your right leg. Tia. Good. All right, put your foot back. Let's do another one. Look over your shoulder. Come back. Keep your feet down. Look over your shoulder. Now, you have to put your weight on your left foot, but keep turning. Kick. That's number 2. Good. That's a big mistake a lot of people make is they forget to put their weight backward. What they'll do is they'll turn their body this way, but their weight's here. So then the only leg that makes sense for them to kick with is this foot because it's really light. This foot's heavy. I can't really pick this foot up well. Well, we have to come back to it that way because I'm going to turn at you. I'm going to kick at you, but I've turned my back. So now I have to push my back towards you. And once I do that, then I can kick at you just like that. Good. All right, so that was your 3rd try. Now let's switch your feet. Put your left foot back. All right, make sure your left foot is back. Now look over your shoulder. Put your weight backward toward the target, and then pick your foot up. Kick just like that. Good. That was number 1. Put your hands up. Let's do 2 more. Look over your shoulder. Kick. 2. Good. And the last one. Ready. Go. 3. Good. I hope you practice that a lot. Make sure that when you do that, that kick is just like the side kick in the sense that it hits with the bottom of your heel because that's what's lined up with all your bones. So your power and your pressure hits the person and pushes them backward with strength. All right, now we're going to work on axe kick. Axe kick is called chiki. All right, chiki is axe kick. Let's say it one more time. Chiki. Yes, chiki is axe kick in Korean. So the way that an axe kick works, it's kind of the opposite of a front kick in the sense that a front kick, all my power and my pressure is going straight up toward a target. An axe kick, I would be having my foot above the target and pulling down on top. All right, so let me show you how that works. Let's step out into a ready position. Good. Put your right leg back in a fighting stance, hands up, bend your knees, guard position like always. Now we're going to do axe kick. All right, so axe kick, we lift our foot up high, and we're going to hit with the back of our heel, all right, right under the heel, right where that is, and you're going to pull that straight down. So let's do a really basic version of it. Put your foot, swing your leg straight up, and pull straight down. Good. Now, having your foot go high is important because the higher you get it, the more you can pull downward. All right. But wherever your target is, so you can imagine your target being anywhere, you want to make sure your foot goes higher than that target and has the ability to start moving before it strikes. All right. So some people, when they try to hit something hard or break it, they put their foot barely on top of it and then try to go through. You have to get your foot higher, way higher than the target to be able to hit down with some strength and power. So put your hands up. So lift your foot up high and pull down. Good. Now remember, the important part is pulling down, but we don't want to hit our foot really hard on the ground, especially if you don't have soft mats. I don't want you hitting your heel really hard on hard ground. It's bad for your leg, your foot, your ankle, your knees, your hips, your back, everything. All right. So what do we want to do? What I want you to do is lift your foot up, tia. Still be gentle on the ground. Pick your foot up. Last one, tua. Good. Now let's step back. All right. We're going to do it again 4 more times, a little faster. All right. Put your right leg back, fighting stance. Oh, the last part. If you go to kick and there's a target in front of you, you can't lift your foot up through the target. In the air, it's easy because the target's invisible. But right now, I want you to imagine there's a board right in front of you, you're about to break. You got to get your foot around that target and then hit it down. So we do what's called an inside to outside axe kick. The leg that's behind you comes inside of my shoulders, and then on the way out, it's going toward the outside of my shoulders. It doesn't actually go outside of my shoulders. It just goes towards the inside, towards the outside. So put your hands up, lift your foot up on this side. Tia. Now the other foot has to go the other way for it to be inside. The inside of my shoulders from here is this way, and then the outside would be going back that way. So we pick our foot up and down. Good. Go. Tia. One more. Tua. Good. All right, and that's an axe kick. And remember, with the axe kick, our legs should be straight. We're going to pull straight down, and we want to make sure that we hit with the back of the heel with as much power and force as we can. Now we're going to work on our fighting stance. When we do a fighting stance, what we're going to do is we're going to turn one foot over to the side. I want you to take, starting from your feet together, take one step, 1 foot. Not only do you move it to the side, but I want you to take a half of a step outward. You want the other leg to step all the way forward in one big step. All right. So if you think of an L shape, an L has a long top and a little half sideways, or the other direction, right? So an L shape is straight down and a little over. So we want one big long line and a little over. We bend both of our knees. All right. Once we bend both of our knees, instead of going straight down and being even, half of your weight in the front, half of the weight in the back, 50-50. All right. What we want is we want to put more of our weight in the back. So to do that, we don't lean back with our shoulders or our head, right? We don't lean backward. We want to, after we bend, to move our whole body backward. So everything is over top of this one leg. This leg that's still in the front, if you pick your heel up just off the ground, just a little bit, just enough so that it's not touching, right? Put your hands up in a guard position. This is a good fighting stance because now our weight is backward, right? Our front leg and our front hand are lighter. They're faster. We can punch, we can kick with a little bit more speed because our weight is off of it, right? If I needed to punch with my backside, I can push with my leg where all my weight is and have a lot of power. So that's one of the reasons that fighting stance is so good for fighting, right? Is because we can be defensive at the same time as we can be offensive and help add power and strength to our techniques when we attack, right? So put your hands up, bend your knees. If you're doing this right, your leg should start to get a little tired. Maybe it hurts a little bit. What really should happen is you should feel it start to vibrate or tingle or make some type of feeling along the top part of your leg called the quadricep. All right, the quad. That's going to be real strong. So let's switch to the other leg. Let's give that a rest. Yeah, all right, so start with your feet together. We're going to take the other leg, step out to the side, half of a step, and then take one full step forward. Bend both of your knees. Keep your hands up in a guard position. And this is the important part. Move your whole entire body backward. Don't lean backward. Move everything backward a little bit, and then pick your heel up off the ground. If your heel is off the ground, that means that more of your weight is off of it. So now your hands are up. You're leaning backward. If you bend your knee just a little bit more, you should really feel it through your leg. All right, remember to keep your elbows and hands up in your guard position, right, so that I can both defend and then later push and attack if I want to. But stay back. Hold it there for about 3 more seconds. 2, 1. Good. Go back to ready position. So now we're going to talk about stepping forward in our fighting stance. So what we do is we turn our foot sideways, put your feet together, and then step into your fighting stance. When you step, don't push or lean forward because we don't want to put our weight or energy forward. That's for a front stance. Fighting stance, I want to stay backward. So as I go to step, you can pre-pivot your foot or you can pivot your foot as you step. For now, just for this demonstration, I want you to pre-pivot. I want you to turn your heel inward. Then I want your feet to come close together. Step forward. Here. Foot goes out a full step, a little over. And all your weight should now be on the back leg. So let's pre-pivot your foot. Turn your heel inward. Put your feet close together so all your weight has now transferred to this leg. As I step out into a fighting stance, the same thing. All my weight is still in the back leg. My heel is up. My hands are up, just like that. Let's do one more. Pre-pivot. Feet go together. Step forward the rest of the way. Hands up just like this. Now remember, your weight shouldn't be forward. It should be backward over top of that leg. And that's your fighting stance. So make sure that when you do all these stances that you're doing everything in the right way so that you can get the maximum use out of the stance. Horse stances are great to the side, front stances are very strong to the front, and fighting stances are meant to be able to fight from. All right, being able to switch quickly and efficiently from offensive to defensive positions. So that's the fighting stance. Now we're going to work on number 26, self-defense techniques. Remember that the set of 5 techniques, 26 to 30, are all techniques sitting on the ground, or sitting on a bench, sitting on a chair, laying down. We don't practice them or even teach them from the actual bench or chair. We do all of our techniques from the ground, though. So when we have a seat, all right, number 26 is you're supposed to be sitting on a chair, and somebody comes up towards you. They step at you in a threatening way. All right, you feel unsafe. Maybe they're reaching down and trying to choke you. So if we're sitting on the ground and somebody steps towards us, to defend ourselves, what we do is we have to determine which leg they're stepping with. So if they're stepping with their left foot, right, their left foot would be stepping toward this foot over here. I'm going to use my left foot to do the first move. All right, so the first move is I want to kick at their hip, at their stomach, at the top of their leg, all right, whatever you can reach. You might want to put your hand down on the ground for support. You definitely will for the next part of this. But from here, what you're going to do is they step at you, you're going to kick your foot up toward their hip. The bottom leg is going to hook around their ankle, right? You're going to use your heel and you're going to put it around their ankle, and then you're going to, in a second, you're going to pull it in close. All right, so if you watch the next part, when I pull it in close, I'm going to use it in conjunction with pushing. All right, so if they step towards you, you put your foot up, you kick first, and immediately slide your foot around. Now from here, if I were just in a chair, it would be a little easier to just pull the person and continue to push them. But since we're on the ground, we're going to need a little bit more support with that. So once we kick and we hook, from now I want you to push off the ground, push with your foot, and land all the way forward. Kind of go up to your knee. From there, we could totally stand up and keep on fighting or defend myself from there. All right, but the idea is to hook their leg, push their hip, make them fall backward as you pull their leg out from underneath them. So one more time, the whole entire thing. We're going to put our hand down. We're going to kick with the left, hook with the right. From here, step forward and push, just like that. All right, and then you can do the same exact thing on the other side. You can put your hand down support here. If they step towards this foot with their leg, I kick, hook, from here, push them downward as I pull their leg. So their legs should be here, their body should be here. We should be stepping toward them and able to protect ourselves. All right, so last time, let's do it one more time. Ready? From here, you're going to kick, hook, push, land up here. And like I said, you can stand all the way up if you wanted to. All right, so that's number 26 self-defense techniques. Now we're going to work on number 27 self-defense techniques. Number 27 is another seated technique. You imagine that you're sitting on a bench, all right, not a chair. There's a bench because somebody can sit right next to you. That person decides they want to put their arm around you and be your buddy, all right? We want to make sure that when somebody is not your friend and they put their hands on you in a way that you don't want, we want to be able to get their hands off. So their arm goes up and around you like this. So I'm going to imagine I'm sitting here. There's a person sitting next to me with their arm around my shoulder. All right. The first thing that I'm going to do is you're going to take the arm that's close to them, elbow them in the stomach. All right. If you feel unsafe, you need to get away and they're not letting you, they're holding you down, they're pulling you back. All right. You elbow strike and immediately follow up with a palm strike. All right. The double move here is important and necessary because my hand will be there for the next part of the technique. All right. So we're sitting here. The person's next to us. You're going to elbow strike them, palm strike. Leave your hand up near their face while this hand snakes around behind and grabs. We do that same type of reaching motion for a lot of our one steps. Well, number 7, when they have your collar, we reach around behind. When somebody has you in a headlock, we reach around behind, grab the shoulder, pull upward. So this common practice of coming around behind, reaching up and grabbing something, or at least pushing down or being able to control them by going around their arm and shoulder, gives you a lot of pressure on their shoulder, is really important. All right, so from here, elbow strike, other hand, palm strike. The one that did the elbow strike goes behind the person, up and over. You're going to grab onto your own hand, and then you're going to pull the person in. If I was sitting on a bench and I did that to the person, their head would go down, then you'd throw or roll them off of the bench. If they're sitting next to you like I am with their legs out here, it actually just squishes them upside, squishes them in half. It folds them in half in a really uncomfortable position. They typically just and get squished in half. But from here, elbow strike, palm strike. This hand reaches up behind. Grab onto your own hand. This is going to help you give a little bit of pressure as you push. Squeeze the person in half, right, and hold them down until you can escape, get away, or they give up. All right, one last time. Elbow strike, palm strike. The elbow strike arm goes up behind, grab. You're going to squish them in half, just like that. Good. And that is number 27, self-defense technique. Now we're going to do a hopping front kick. Some people call it jumping front kick, but it's called Deya Apcheki. Deya means hopping or single action, and Apcheki means front kick. So it's a single action front kick. Now, a jumping front kick. So what I really like to do is try to get people to understand that this is kind of like switching your feet. So let's start from a ready position. Put your right foot back. Whenever I tell you to switch feet, all you're supposed to do is just jump up, straight in the air, and switch your feet. We land in the same position on the other side. So when we think about the hopping front kick like that, remember, we're not moving forward, we're not retreating, we're not moving to the side. All you have to do is just switch your feet. Ready? Switch. Switch. Good. Now when I want you to switch, and just for this drill, I want you to jump and see how high you can get your knees up in the air as you switch. Ready? Jump, switch. Knees up high. Ready? Try again. Switch. Knees up high. Now, all you have to do from there is throw a front kick in the process of jumping and switching. So leg that's behind you, right now is your left foot. Your left foot, when you jump up and kick, is going to go straight up in the air as I switch, knees up, kick. So your hands are up, jump kick, Tia. And one more time, Tia. And one more time on this side, Tia. Just like that. That's called a Deya Apcheki or hopping front. Our today's challenge is going to be to hold your side kick. All right. So what I want you to do is we just worked on the side kick today. We pick your knee up and you kick. But what I want you to do is I want you to hold your side kick out with your hands up for as long as possible without moving anything. All right. I want to see how long you can hold it up. It may be a couple seconds. It may be a little bit longer than that. But your goal is to make it at least as high as your belt. All right, if you can, but hold it up as high as you absolutely can. Make sure that you keep your hands up with balance. If you start to wiggle or move around, that's okay. But if you start jumping all over the place and you don't have control of your foot, that's not going to count anymore. So I just want you to do a side kick, keep your hands up, hold it out for as long as you can. All right, make sure it's timed. Let me know how you did.